Iran dominates the headlines. Nuclear threats, regional conflicts, secret alliances. The world watches nervously as tensions escalate. But what if Iran's entire story, its past, present, and future, was already written thousands of years ago? Yes, Iran appears throughout the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, but you won't find it called Iran. The Bible uses its ancient name, Persia. And here's what will shock you. The Bible doesn't just tell us about Persia's beginning. It reveals its ultimate destiny in one of the most terrifying passages in Scripture, the War of Gog and Magog, a final coalition that will rise against Israel in the last days. But before becoming a prophetic enemy, Persia was God's chosen instrument to free his people, rebuild the temple, and fulfill Daniel's prophecies. Stay with me for the next few minutes, because what you're about to discover will change how you see current events forever. This is the complete biblical timeline of Iran, from beginning to end. Let's dive in. It all begins after the Great Flood. God gave humanity a fresh start through Noah and his 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. In Genesis 10, we find the Table of Nations, the Bible's first map of the world. And hidden in this genealogy are 2 patriarchs who would give birth to the Persian Empire, Madai and Elam. Madai, son of Japheth, fathered the Medes, fierce mountain warriors who settled in northern Iran. Elam, son of Shem, fathered the Elamites who settled in the fertile southwestern plains near the Persian Gulf. By Abraham's time, Elam wasn't just a tribe, it was a kingdom. Genesis 14 records the Bible's first international war. 4 eastern kings, led by Chedorlaomer of Elam, invaded Canaan and took Lot captive. But Abraham pursued them with only 318 servants, attacked by night, and won an impossible victory. The message was clear: no eastern power can prevail against those who have God's favor. Centuries passed. These 2 peoples, the Medes and Elamites, would eventually unite to form one of history's greatest empires. And long before that empire rose, God had already written its story. Around 700 BC, through the prophet Isaiah, God delivered 2 prophecies about Persia that will leave you stunned. First prophecy: Elam and Media will destroy Babylon. Isaiah 21:2, Go up, Elam, lay siege Media, all the groaning Babylon caused I will bring to an end. But the second prophecy, even more shocking. In Isaiah 44:45, God names a specific pagan king, more than 150 years before the sea. The second was a bear raised up on one side with 3 ribs in its mouth. Get up and eat your fill of flesh. The bear symbolized Medo-Persia, raised on one side because Persia would dominate Media. The 3 ribs represented its greatest conquests, Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt. Daniel's most detailed vision came by the Ulai River. A ram with 2 horns charged in all directions. One horn was longer, having grown up later. Then a goat from the west attacked with supernatural speed and destroyed the ram. The angel explained, "The ram represents Media and Persia, the goat is Greece." Alexander the Great would conquer Persia, but that day hadn't arrived. Persia's hour of glory was approaching. While Daniel watched, history unfolded exactly as prophesied. Deus united the Medes. His grandson Cyaxares destroyed Nineveh. Then came Cyrus the Great, who conquered Media and forged the Medo-Persian Empire. He turned his eyes toward Babylon. The night Babylon fell is unforgettable. King Belshazzar threw a feast for 1,000 nobles. In drunken arrogance, he ordered the sacred vessels from Jerusalem's temple brought in. They drank from them, toasting false gods. Suddenly, an invisible hand appeared, writing on the wall. Emiani, Emiani Tkl Uphr. No one could read it until Daniel was summoned. God has numbered your reign and ended it. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Even as he spoke, Persian soldiers were entering the city along the diverted Euphrates riverbed. The gates stood unlocked. That night Belshazzar died. Babylon fell without a battle. Cyrus did something unprecedented. He issued a decree allowing Jewish exiles to return home and ordered the temple rebuilt, at his expense. Isaiah's 150-year-old prophecy came true word for word. The Jews who had wept by Babylon's rivers could hardly believe it. A pagan Persian king had become their deliverer. Persia became the empire that didn't destroy Israel, but restored it. Remember the bear's 3 ribs, each represented a conquest. Lydia, Cyrus defeated King Croesus. Babylon fell as prophesied. Egypt, Cambyses II crushed Pharaoh Psamtik III. Persia now ruled from India to Ethiopia, the greatest empire the world had seen. Under King Xerxes Ahasuerus, the Persian throne sat in Susa, ancient Elam's capital. When Queen Vashti refused the king's drunken command to parade her beauty, she was banished. The search began for a new queen. Among the candidates was an orphan named Hadassah, raised by her cousin Mordecai. In the palace, she received a Persian name, Esther. King Ahasuerus loved Esther above all others and crowned her queen. No one knew she was Jewish. Haman the Agagite, descendant of Israel's ancient enemies, rose to the king's highest position. Everyone bowed before him, except Mordecai. Enraged, Haman They were learned scholars, likely from Parthian Persia. They probably knew Daniel's writings, including his prophecy of the Messiah's timing in Daniel 9. When they saw the star, they understood. The promised king had been born. They traveled hundreds of miles and brought 3 gifts: gold declaring his kingship, frankincense acknowledging his deity, myrrh foreshadowing his death. These Persian scholars became the first Gentiles to worship Christ. Once again, Persia played its part in God's plan. But Persia's story doesn't end in Bethlehem. The prophet Ezekiel received a terrifying vision of the last days. Ezekiel 38, 1-6. Son of man, prophesy against Gog of Magog. Persia, Cush and Put will be with them. Gomer and Beit Togarmah from the far north, many nations with you. Let's break this down. Gog of Magog, a powerful northern leader, possibly Russia. Persia, modern Iran, listed first. Cush, Sudan, East Africa. Put, Libya, North Africa. Gomer and Togarmah, Turkey, Caucasus region. A massive coalition united to invade Israel. Ezekiel describes this army as a storm cloud, but God sets a trap. I will bring you against my land, so that the nations may know me when I show myself holy through you. As the armies close in, God unleashes judgment. Massive earthquake. Soldiers turn on each other. Fire and sulfur rain from heaven. I will show my greatness and holiness, and I will make myself known. Then they will know that I am the Lord. The slaughter is so vast, it takes 7 months to bury the dead. And Persia, Iran, is part of it. Today's Iran has made its hostility clear. Its leaders call for Israel's destruction. It funds Hezbollah, Hamas, and militias aimed at the Jewish state. The headlines are lining up with ancient prophecy. But remember Jeremiah's promise. I will break the bow of Elam, yet I will restore the fortunes of Elam in days to come. First judgment, then restoration. Zechariah 14:16 describes the millennial kingdom. Then the survivors from all the nations that attacked Jerusalem will go up year after year to worship the King, the Lord Almighty. Survivors from the attacking nations will worship, including Persia. Perhaps Iranians will one day walk Jerusalem's streets not as invaders, but as worshipers. Right now, something remarkable is happening. Despite Islamic rule and persecution, Christianity is exploding in Iran.